All right, Gary, thanks. Good stuff. Well, it's hard to believe, but yes, even the perfect of couples fight. So how can you manage to win your argument without ruining your marriage? Spirit coach Pamela McQuade is here with 5 tips. Only 5? It only takes about 5 tips?
5 tips, 5 easy things.
Tell me what a spirit coach is, first of all.
Yeah, spirit coach is really like life coaching, except my focus is more on balance, learning how to balance your life as well as getting in touch with your inner purpose.
Okay, and so 5 tips, we can really make those arguments more useful, I guess I would say.
Yes.
And if we do this first step, which seems very important, speak a language of love even when arguing. Sounds like it might be easier said than done.
It's really not. It's about focusing your words on caring communication rather than verbal sparring, which you get into a lot. And this is just treating your spouse as if they were your best friend, as opposed to your spouse, and remembering that expressions of love and gratitude are essential for a healthy marriage.
Okay, so maybe just really choose your words carefully, because in the heat of the moment, sometimes ugly words come out.
That's right.
And you can't take those back.
Can't take them back. Don't want to do that.
So even how upset you are, keep the love there.
It takes practice. I can't say it's going to be something that's going to happen overnight, but yes, it does take practice.
Okay. Number 2, be open-minded. Sometimes we only see our side in an argument.
Right. In radio shows across the country, I always say men and women really do communicate differently. So you have to learn to communicate from a place of listening versus a place of defensiveness, which is the first place that most people go to. So perception is reality here. You need to ask your spouse, how am I coming across to you? It's the words that you use, the tone of voice that you use, all of the verbal and nonverbal are keys into how you're communicating.
And arguing, I would say, is an important part of marriage. So because you need to communicate, and sometimes that's a good way to get some things out in the open. But again, these guidelines help us know there's smart ways to do it. Okay, set guidelines is tip number 3. How do we do that?
Okay, set guidelines. This is what I see a lot in my coaching practice. People don't communicate at all. So you have to set aside a time each day that you're going to communicate and set the time limit. So I have a lot of people that say, oh, 15 minutes would be okay. Others say, no, I really want to talk an hour. 20 to 30 minutes for that couple, and don't miss the time to communicate. And you also want to remember that you don't always have to come up with a solution right then. Sometimes it's a good thing to step away for a day or two and contemplate what you've just spoken about.
Yeah, you're right, because we live overextended lives. We have families and kids and jobs and everything else, so you don't make that kind of time to communicate. So oftentimes, you know, I'm not speaking from positive or personal experience. It sounds like I am, but maybe I am. But sometimes you don't communicate because you don't have a time or reason to, and then everything comes out in that fight when there's angst or something going on.
You touched on a good point. People build up anxiety about something just because you're not communicating. So it does. It bubbles to the surface, and pretty soon you have a big blowout, and you don't want to have that.
No, big blowouts are bad. Okay, number 4. Stay positive. Stay positive in an argument, no matter who it's with. That seems like a challenge.
Well, it's really not, because it's really about a way that you live your life. So I love this. Stay positive. It's the first chapter in the book I just wrote, Affirm the Positive. It's all about ending the conversation on a positive note. And sometimes that looks like, okay, we've decided on coming up with a solution at another time, so we're going to say a kind word, and sometimes leave with a thought for the day.
Sometimes when you talk in like baby talk or something, you're like, you're a really big jerk, and then it kind of softens a little bit. So like there's ways to, again, to communicate.
Joking is a fun thing. If you do that in a positive way, joking can be great. And another key here is to remember to release all of the anger and resentment that you've built up so that you can move forward from a positive heart.
Yes. If I get cranky or angry, my husband starts making up silly songs and singing them to me, and I don't want to laugh, and I'm like really angry, and then he's like, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? And then da-da, the fight is over. Okay, number 5, bring kindness back in.
Yeah, so oftentimes when people get into this cycle where you're disagreeing a lot, it's like a snowball effect. You just keep disagreeing. Kindnesses are the first thing that go out the door. So you have to remember it's the small things. It's a card, it's a phone call or an email throughout the day, something. But the key here again is you have to do something that is of value to the other person.
Okay.
Because what I think would be something nice would be completely different than what my husband would think.
There's different things that are really kindness. Like when my husband has clean socks in the drawer, he thinks this is the most great thing in the world. But for me, maybe some roses would be better.
That's right.
I get what you're saying, Pamela. Thank you so much for being here, helping us save our marriage in this new year. And you'll find Pamela's complete list of tips on how to argue without ruining your marriage on our website. That's WFAA.com/GMT. And remember, you can find out more about Pamela. Go to her website. Listen to this one, spiritualityissexy.com. Gary?
Thank you, Amy.